In this first video on analyzing the firm, we'll provide an introduction to internal analysis. Industry analysis provided an examination of the firm's competitive environment. Internal analysis, or analyzing the firm, we now examine the firm's resources and capabilities and its internal strengths and weaknesses to understand its potential for competitive advantage that the firm possesses. We then combine this internal analysis with the external analysis to design a strategy that takes advantage of the firm's relative strengths that are appealing to or that fit or aligned with the competitive environment that the firm operates in. The objective of the firm and strategy is to achieve sustainable competitive advantage or relative superior profitability. Industry analysis focuses on the external sources of profitability. As we move to analyzing the firm, we look at the firm's resources and capabilities to identify the potential sources of the superior profitability within the firm. What we are essentially trying to do is understand the existence of or the potential for competitive advantage. And the analogy that's useful here is that of a moat. In medieval times, a moat protected a castle, and what we are trying to understand is, does the firm have an economic moat, or something that protects its advantage? The existence of an economic moat suggests potential for competitive advantage, and then the width of the economic moat identifies the duration or the sustainability of that competitive advantage. And so internal analysis is about understanding whether the firm has or has the potential for a competitive advantage, and understanding also its ability to sustain that competitive advantage against competition. The process of analyzing the firm looks like this. First, we identify the firm's key strategic resources and capabilities. And these are the resources and capabilities where the firm has relative strengths over its rivals, and also possibly identifying the relative weaknesses as well. If other firms within the firm's competitive environment maintain or possess those capabilities and resources, then they do not represent potential for competitive advantage. After we have identified the firm's key strategic capabilities and resources, we then appraise them to determine, one, how strategically important are they in terms of the firm's advantage over its rivals, and then two, the degree to which the firm has a relative strength or weakness. This helps us identify the potential for sustainable competitive advantage from the firm's internal environment, what the firm actually possesses. We then use this information to develop strategy implications. How can we exploit the strengths that we have in terms of our unique resources and capabilities? And then in terms of our relative weaknesses, how can we address those through either outsourcing or designing a strategy that protects us against those weaknesses? Or do we need to allocate more resources to invest and obtain these resources and capabilities where we have relative weaknesses? The goal, again, is to identify the internal sources of potential for competitive advantage, and then use that as inputs to design a strategy that we can leverage, and then develop that economic moat, and then continue to maintain it. Over the next two videos, we will now be diving into this pyramid and identifying the different pieces of the internal analysis, looking at first resources, then capabilities, and finally the firm's core competence, which lies at the heart of a sustainable competitive advantage. We'll define each of these in the following videos and explore how the firm can analyze them, and also then how the firm can protect them.